special Live on the Record 2016 Town Hall with GOP presidential candidate Governor John Kasich. Governor Kasich hoping for a big day this coming Tuesday. Voters in his very important home state of Ohio will cast their ballots. Let's get right back to our questions from our audience for Governor Kasich. Michael, you have a question for the governor, and are you undecided or decided?
I'm undecided. I'm a registered Republican, and I will be voting next week, but trying to decide whether or not I ought to vote for you.
You got a great voice, man. You check out radio.
I was thinking of that, too.
He's really, it was so good. Yes.
Anyway, the ongoing crisis... The ongoing crises in Syria and Iraq pose a serious and demonstrated threat to security, both abroad and at home. Would you be ready and willing to land troops on the ground in order to combat and secure those nations? And would you support regime change in Syria as a part of a resolution to the problem?
Okay, well, first of all, we have to look at this in a couple ways. I don't believe in the U.S. getting involved in civil wars directly. I would not involve U.S. troops to push Assad out, but I had been calling for a long time some of my friends in Congress to provide the aid to the anti-Assad forces in Syria, which they should have been doing a long time ago, but we dithered, we didn't do anything, okay? Now, in regard to ISIS, we need to reassemble the coalition we had in the first Gulf War. And I can remember when the Egyptian ambassador to the U.S. stood in the Rose Garden and announced a coalition of Muslim Arabs. You know, we hear, Muslims. Well, Muslims are Arabs, many of them, and they are over there in, in the Middle East, obviously in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, in the Gulf states. They need to be part of this, along with our European friends. And, cripe, we can get some folks in other parts of the world to join us. We need to go in the air and on the ground. And some people say, well, okay, we just put special forces on the ground. It's going to take more than that. In the air, on the ground, wipe them out because they're a cult of evil and a cult of death. Once it settles down, come home and let the regional powers write the map, draw the map the way they want it, and settle it down. I don't want to use U.S. forces to try to convert people to our way of life, and I don't want to have our direct involvement in civil wars. It never works out. And when we do go, it has to be our direct interest with a plan to get in, take care of business, and a plan to be able to get out. That's how I think you should run foreign policy.